Have you ever stood in front of the mirror and thought, I still feel young, but why does this outfit make me look older than I really am? It's a moment every woman over 60 has faced, when the clothes you once loved no longer love you back. Here's the shocking truth, it's not about the price tag. I've seen women look breathtaking in a $40 blouse, turning heads as if they just walked off a runway. And at the same time, I've seen others spend $300 on a designer top, only to appear frumpy, dated, and even older. How is that possible? The secret lies in the details most women overlook. A neckline that cuts too high, a print that overwhelms your features, a color that drains your face, or even the wrong fabric. Each of these mistakes quietly chips away at your elegance. And here's the twist. These mistakes are so common that you may already be making them without even realizing it. But what if fixing them was simple? What if small, effortless changes could take years off your look, restore your confidence, and bring back that spark you thought was gone forever? In today's video, we're uncovering the 10 most common fashion mistakes women over 60 make with their tops, and exactly how to avoid them. Before we dive in, make sure to subscribe to Fashion Over 60. Your support gives me the motivation to create even more powerful, inspiring videos to help you feel confident, elegant, and unstoppable at any age. Mistake #1. Tops that are too tight or too loose. One of the biggest style mistakes women over 60 often make is wearing tops that are either too tight or way too loose. When a blouse pulls across the bust, it highlights every line and feels uncomfortable. On the other hand, when it's oversized and shapeless, it swallows your figure and instantly takes away from your elegance. The solution is simple: find tops that skim your body, not squeeze it or drown it. The right fit should create a smooth line from your shoulders down to your hips, no pulling, no bunching, no extra fabric hanging off you. I once worked with a client named Linda who used to wear baggy tops, thinking they would hide her midsection, but in reality they made her look heavier and less polished. When she switched to a silk blouse that fit her frame and added a slim belt at the waist, the transformation was incredible. Her posture lifted, her confidence came through, and the compliments started pouring in. Here's the truth: a well-fitted top doesn't just make you look better, it makes you feel better. It sharpens your silhouette, adds structure, and shows off the woman you are today: confident, elegant, and completely in control of your style. Have you ever put on something oversized, hoping it would hide your body, only to realize it actually made you look bigger? That's why getting the fit right is the first and most powerful step. And once you've mastered fit, the next step is choosing the right fabrics, because even the best fitting top can fall flat if the material looks cheap. Mistake #2. Choosing cheap fabrics. Wearing cheap fabrics is one of the fastest ways to make your outfit look less expensive. Shiny polyester that wrinkles easily or clings with static never looks polished, no matter how much you paid for it. Thin, flimsy materials lose their shape and instantly bring down your entire look. The solution is simple: choose fabrics with weight and structure. Cotton, silk, linen, and quality blends drape beautifully, last longer, and age gracefully just like you. These fabrics move with your body, not against it, and they always give off an air of quiet sophistication. I think of an elegant Italian woman I once met who wore nothing more than a crisp white cotton shirt. The shirt wasn't costly at all, but because the fabric had substance, everyone assumed it was designer. That's the power of choosing the right material. Have you ever bought a blouse that looked fine in the store, but after one wash it lost its shape, pilled, or started clinging to your skin? That frustration is exactly why fabric matters more than the price tag. The pieces you'll reach for again and again will always be the ones made from breathable cotton. Soft silks or well-made blends, they feel better, photograph better, and never betray you in front of the mirror. When shopping, run the fabric through your fingers. If it feels thin, shiny, or slippery, it will look cheap when you wear it. Once you've mastered fabric, the next challenge is patterns, because even the most luxurious fabric can lose its elegance if the print overwhelms you. Mistake #3. Overly busy patterns. Large, busy prints can overwhelm your look and take away from your natural elegance. Instead of making you appear vibrant, oversized florals or chaotic designs often look outdated and distracting. The solution is to choose subtle patterns on neutral backgrounds. Small florals, fine stripes, or simple geometric designs add interest without overpowering you. These details highlight you rather than drawing attention to the blouse itself. I once worked with a client who wore a blouse covered in oversized flowers. The print dominated her entire look, and no one noticed her face. When she switched to a blouse with delicate stripes, the change was immediate. Her features looked brighter, her figure sharper, and she appeared younger. Have you ever worn a top with a loud print and felt like the pattern was wearing you instead of the other way around? That's exactly why busy prints can be tricky. The pieces that earn the most compliments are always the ones with understated details. When people notice you before they notice your shirt, that's true elegance. Once you've mastered patterns, the next step is just as important: undergarments. Because even the most refined blouse can lose its polish if what's underneath isn't right. Mistake #4. Wrong undergarments. Wearing the wrong bra can instantly ruin your look. Visible seams, straps that dig in, or cups that don't fit smoothly create lumps and lines that show through your blouse. Even the most expensive top will lose its polish if the foundation underneath isn't right. The fix is simple: get fitted regularly. Our bodies change, and a bra that worked years ago may not work today. A seamless nude bra that disappears under clothing gives you clean lines, better posture, and a more youthful shape. I once had a client in her mid-60s who had been wearing the same size for decades. After trying on the correct fit, she looked in the mirror and said, "I feel like I just got 10 years back." That's the power of the right foundation. Have you ever put on a blouse you love, only to notice awkward bumps showing through? Chances are it wasn't the blouse, it was the bra. Fixing this is one of the easiest, most affordable style upgrades you can make. Once your foundation is smooth and supportive, the next step is choosing the right neckline, because the wrong neckline can be just as aging as the wrong undergarments. Mistake #5. Unflattering necklines. High crew necks and round necklines can make your neck look shorter and bring more attention to fine lines. Instead of flattering your face, they cut off your natural length and weigh down your upper body. The fix is simple: choose necklines that open and elongate. V-necks, soft scoop necks, and slightly unbuttoned collars draw the eye upward, frame your face, and create a more elegant silhouette. A crisp white shirt with 2 buttons undone and a pearl necklace is a perfect example. It feels polished, light, and timeless. Many women notice that just switching from a high neckline to an open one makes their face look brighter and their posture more graceful. Have you ever tried on a blouse and felt like your neck looked shorter or your face looked heavier? That's usually the neckline working against you. The right cut instantly changes how you look and feel. Once you've found necklines that flatter your face, the next step is color, because even the best cut can lose its power if the shade washes you out. Mistake #6. Unflattering colors. The wrong colors can drain the life out of your face. Shades that are too dark or too cool, like harsh black, icy pastels, or stark white, tend to wash out the skin and make you look tired. They may have worked years ago, but as your coloring changes with age, those shades often feel flat and aging. The solution is to choose colors that bring warmth and light. Cream is softer than pure white, sage green is fresher than black, and peach or coral instantly add life where icy tones dull you down. These shades reflect light back onto your skin, brighten your eyes, and create a healthy glow. I know a woman who wore black almost every day, convinced it was timeless and slimming. The first time she tried on a blouse in sage green, everyone around her commented on how refreshed she looked, like she had just returned from vacation. Have you ever compared 2 tops in the mirror and noticed that one makes your skin look flat while the other makes your eyes sparkle? That's the power of color. The right shade can make you look vibrant, rested, and youthful without changing anything else. And once color is working in your favor, the next step is updating your style, because even the best shade won't save a look that feels dated. Mistake #7. Outdated styles. Outdated clothing can make you look stuck in another decade. Boxy blazers with heavy shoulder pads, ruffled blouses, or oversized cuts may have been stylish once, but now they look dated and unflattering. The solution is to keep the classics you love but update the cut. A sleek, tailored blazer instantly feels modern compared to one with exaggerated padding. Clean lines and subtle details will always look sophisticated without weighing you down. I worked with a client who had a navy blazer from the 90s. The fabric was beautiful, but the shape aged her. When she tried a fitted blazer in the same color with updated proportions, the transformation was immediate, still classic but sharp, fresh, and current. Have you ever pulled out an old favorite and realized it doesn't look the same on you anymore? That's usually a sign the style is holding you back, not lifting you up. Updating your staples with modern tailoring lets your wardrobe evolve with you. Once your style feels current, the next step is refining the essentials, starting with the perfect white shirt. Mistake #8. The wrong white shirt. The white shirt is a classic, but the wrong one can instantly cheapen your look. If the fabric is too thin, wrinkles easily, or hangs shapelessly, it loses all polish. The key is quality and structure. Choose a shirt with medium-weight fabric that holds its shape, clean tailoring that skims the body, and well-made buttons like mother of pearl. These details turn a simple shirt into a piece that always looks refined. A perfectly cut white shirt can stay in your wardrobe for years and still feel timeless. It pairs effortlessly with jeans, trousers, or under a blazer and always adds sophistication. Have you ever bought a white blouse that looked fine on the hanger but turned sheer or sloppy after one wash? That's why fabric and fit matter so much with a staple piece. When you find the right white shirt, getting dressed becomes easier because it elevates everything you wear. Once the foundation is set, the next step is defining your waistline, because even the best shirt can lose its impact if your shape gets lost underneath. Mistake #9. Not defining the waistline. Loose, boxy tops that hide the waist make you look larger and older. When your shape disappears under fabric, your outfit loses structure and polish. The fix is to bring definition back to the waist. A simple tuck, whether full, half, or French, immediately sharpens the silhouette. Adding a slim belt or choosing tops with subtle tailoring creates the same effect. I worked with a woman who wore long tunics to cover her midsection. She thought the extra fabric was slimming, but it only added bulk. When she tried a half tuck with the same blouse, the transformation was instant. Her figure looked balanced, her posture lifted, and the outfit felt intentional. Have you ever worn a loose top and felt like it was swallowing you? That's why defining the waistline is such a powerful styling trick. It's quick, it's free, and it makes every outfit look more refined. Once the waist is highlighted, the body regains proportion, creating a flattering hourglass effect that makes even casual looks appear chic. The next step is choosing tops that fit your body's proportions today, because true elegance comes from dressing the woman you are now. Mistake #10. Ignoring current body proportions. Dressing as if your body hasn't changed since your 30s is a common mistake. Our proportions shift with age, and styles that once fit perfectly can now feel off or unflattering. Holding on to old cuts makes even quality pieces look outdated. The fix is simple: choose tops that reflect your body today, or tailor what you already own. Shortening sleeves, lowering a collar, or adjusting a hemline can completely change how a piece looks and feels. One client in her 70s had a beautifully made blouse she no longer wore. The shoulders drooped, and the neckline sat too high. After a tailor refined the sleeves and opened the collar, the blouse looked fresh, modern, and perfectly suited to her frame. Have you ever pulled out an old favorite and realized it doesn't sit right anymore? That doesn't always mean it belongs in the donation pile. It may just need a little tailoring. When clothes match your current proportions, they highlight your best features and project confidence. True elegance isn't about dressing for the past, it's about celebrating the body you have right now. As we've seen today, elegance after 60 is not about expensive labels or chasing trends. It's about making smart choices, choosing fabrics that flatter, cuts that highlight your shape, colors that bring light to your skin, and details that reflect the woman you are today. A blouse that fits well, a subtle pattern, a polished neckline. These small decisions add up to a powerful difference. They don't just change how others see you, they transform how you see yourself. The lesson is simple yet profound: let your clothes serve you, not confine you. Fashion should never feel like a reminder of what you've lost, but a celebration of what you've gained. Confidence, wisdom, and the freedom to define beauty on your own terms. True style isn't about age, it's about intention. When you choose with care, you project elegance, no matter what number is on your birthday cake. So ask yourself, are you making any of these 10 mistakes? Which one resonates with you the most? And what change are you inspired to make first? I'd love to hear your perspective. Share your thoughts in the comments so we can all learn from each other's experiences. And if today's video gave you inspiration, don't forget to subscribe to Fashion Over 60. Your support gives me the motivation to keep creating meaningful content that helps you stay confident, stylish, and radiant. Because life after 60 is not about fading away, it's about shining brighter than ever.